often told that loneliness is the problem and the solution to that problem is connection. But what we aren't told enough is why your circle matters and why who you surround yourself with actually does end up shaping your reality and also the trajectory and direction of your life. And this is something that I've experienced, and that's why I want to discuss it and talk about it firsthand. Who you surround yourself with and the people that you let in and the rooms that you are allowing yourself to be in, it's actually shaping who you're becoming every single day. I would rather be alone than be in the wrong room, and here is exactly why. Your environment shapes your reality, and that is just one of the biggest truths about life. I've heard so many successful people talk about this idea of you become who you surround yourself with. Who you surround yourself with is who you end up becoming. So if you're surrounding yourself with people that are negative, that are constantly gossiping, that are insecure, that have no dreams in life, have no goals, have no ambitions, that are constantly ruminating in toxicity and negativity. If you surround yourself with such people, it is very likely that you also become like them. And I can say this for myself because I go back to my life a couple years ago when I was literally surrounding myself with these sort of friends. They had no dreams, no ambitions, no direction for their life. All they would do is talk negatively about other people, gossip, and the limiting beliefs that they also carried were detrimental because they all had really negative perceptions about relationships, about life, about success, about career. They literally were just negative about everything. I was unknowingly becoming like them because here's the thing about human beings. We are profoundly susceptible to social influence. And what I mean by that is we naturally absorb and we slowly start becoming like the people that we surround ourselves with. And I remember this period in my life where I really wanted to go to the gym and I actually really wanted to begin to change my life. And yes, you absolutely have the control to do that in your own life. And there is no one that can bring that change but yourself. But the people that I was surrounding myself with, they didn't want to see me win. And it's not because of anything inherently bad about them, but it's because they couldn't even envision that life for themselves. And this was honestly the period where I was the most stagnant in my own life. And it's because I was literally just surrounding myself with bums. If you are around people right now that have nothing going on for them, if they are constantly being negative, you need to reevaluate that. Why are you around people that are insecure? Why are you around people that are constantly negative? Why are you around people that are always ruminating and that have such a scarcity and lack mindset? You can't be around people like this and you can't expect that your life is going to do a miraculous 180 if this is who you are surrounding yourself with. And that was me for such a long time where I was constantly complaining about why I felt so stuck and why my life wasn't going anywhere. And the only moment that it really changed is when I evaluated my circle. So if you want to actually start to achieve your dreams and live your dream life, the first thing you need to do is evaluate who you are letting in, because that will have such a big impact. You probably don't even realize it, but trust me, when you get rid of the people that are stuck and that are not taking themselves anywhere in their life, forget about you, that is when you will begin to rise. This brings me to my next point, which is the rotting fruit effect. It's that whole analogy of when if you have a bowl of fruit and you put a rotting fruit within this bowl, all the other fruits are going to eventually rot as well. And it happens quite quickly, the process of that. And that is actually the same when it comes to the people that you let into your life, whether that's friendships, relationships, even sometimes can be family members. But what I mean by this is even one negative person, even one really insecure person, even one person that has got really bad habits and is not influencing you in the positive or right ways in life can be so detrimental to your own growth, which is why I've said previously, your circle does determine your ceiling, and why I have also mentioned previously how all these great people that have achieved this success and they've achieved this freedom and they've achieved this fulfillment, there's a common denominator, and they always talk about the environment and the circle that you are surrounding yourself with matters. So you really need to ask yourself this question. Why are you around negativity? Why are you around insecurity? Why are you around people that don't want to see you win? Why are you around people that genuinely don't inspire you? Because that's a bit concerning. If you're telling me that your core circle or that your best friends have no vision for their life, if you're telling me that all your friends do is gossip and be toxic and have all these limiting beliefs, I don't understand why you're entertaining it, because the power to stay also lies in your hands. The decision to stay in the wrong room when you know that it is the wrong room and it is detrimental for your own life and growth, that is your decision. So you can't really blame all the people in your life that you're entertaining that you know are not going to get you anywhere in your own if you are allowing it to happen. And so that is why you really need to take a step back and evaluate and do an audit. Do an audit of the people in your life, because let me tell you one thing. When I changed this in my own life, I saw a complete 180. When I finally decided to cut off and distance from those people that were no longer serving me, the people that were negative, the people that were constantly telling me why things aren't possible. When I finally grew the courage to distance and cut off these people, yes, there was a period where I had to be alone and had to really introspect on what I wanted for my life. But I also began to slowly attract the right aligned people in my life. Another important key thing that you have to realize is jealousy and envy are real. And when you are in the wrong room, when you are surrounding yourself with the wrong people, it is very common for these people to actually project their own insecurities onto you. When I was actually making meaningful change in my life, when I was starting to take control of my life, when I was starting to instill healthy habits into my life, whether that was going to the gym 4 times a week, whether that was eating healthier and actually sticking to more of a nutritional plan that was nourishing my body. When that meant saying no to going out every single weekend on a Friday and Saturday night and getting absolutely horsed. When I started to make those micro decisions in my life, the people that were not aligned with that vision, were not aligned with that goal, they actually tried to gaslight, manipulate, and stop me from doing these things. When you're not in the right room, they are going to find every reason to drag you down, whether that's direct or whether that's indirect. And jealousy is real. And the reason why it is more common than people realize is because people want you to do well, but they don't want you to do better than themselves. When someone is very stagnant in their own life, when someone has no direction, or they may know what they want in their life, but they're not actually instilling those healthy habits to actually have that discipline. When someone is present during your pain, but absent during your success, that is one of the biggest indicators that they should not even be in your life, that they should not be someone that you need to be keeping in your circle. In the right room, you will be encouraged, you will be motivated, you will be inspired to do even better for your life. And I myself have experienced this, where when I finally found my people, when I found my circle, when I found my tribe, if anything, I was more inspired, I was more motivated, I had more fuel to actually chase those dreams that I had put upon me, because I could see that they were doing that for themselves. And insecurity comes in the form of projection, it comes in the form of jealousy. People are going to feel threatened when you start to grow, because it holds up a mirror to what they're avoiding. That is definitely something that happens when you try and grow in rooms that don't support that, which is why I will die on this hill, but I would much rather be alone than be in the wrong room, because those people will do nothing but drag you down. And I want to wrap this up by saying you attract who you are. And if you want to glow up, if you want to become this dream version of yourself, if you really want to live that life that you know you deserve to live, you need to start by letting the right people in. You need to start by sitting in the right rooms. You need to start having more discernment. You need to start having healthier boundaries. I'm not saying that you can't enjoy. I'm not saying that you can't have fun. You absolutely can enjoy your life. But when you start living from a place of purpose, you also cannot bring those same people with you that are trying to drag you down and that are trying to undermine your success. And when I chose myself, when I realized the importance and the impact of having the right people in my life, I automatically began to attract the same. The more that I started to love myself, the more that I started to be disciplined, the more that I started to put my growth first, the more that I started to be kind and not nice. And what I mean by that is not being a people pleaser, not letting people walk all over me, actually having healthy boundaries. The more that I actually started to grow and I started to honor my own vision, my ambitions, and what I wanted for my own life, the more that I started to attract the same. And now my relationship and my friendships are with those that are very secure within themselves. They also have a very growth orientated mindset. They have an abundant mindset. I actually also live with a really good friend now who is a mindset and business coach. She also is very heavily into fitness. She is very internally fulfilled. She is very secure, very grounded. And she celebrates me so much. If anything, we have a friendship where we both celebrate each other. We both inspire each other. We motivate each other. And our friendship is actually built on that authenticity, on that shared growth, on that alignment, and on those values. So if you want that for yourself, you absolutely can attract that life. You absolutely can achieve those goals that you have placed upon your heart. But in order to do that, you need to have the discernment to put yourself first. You need to realize that who you surround yourself with matters. And if you're around those negative people, the negative Nancys, the people that tell you that you can't do it, the people that want you to shrink in order to feel better about themselves, the more that you entertain these energy vampires in your life, the less likely you are to get out of that. If there's anything you can take away from this video, let it be this. The right people in your life will not just celebrate who you are, they will also make it easier for you to become who you're becoming.